So we're going to start another operating session. Basically, when I finish one, I just start over on the next one. I use JMRI to build my trains, to operate my layout, basically. Just the Operations Pro. I don't have it hooked up to the computer. I don't have signals, switches, things like that. First thing I do is I set up these 4 trains. These are the interchange trains. They're going to pull the cars that are in the Chillicothe yard now and replace them with cars from what I call the placer yard, which is basically my staging boxes. So they're a turn. So basically the B&O East is going to run out of staging, or I'm going to stage it on the layout. It's going to have cars to drop off in the placer yard, and it's going to pick up cars to take back to the, I'm going to put it back in the boxes. So if I click on preview, you can see it here. So these are the cars I'm getting out of my storage boxes, and this is what I'm doing at the Chillicothe yard. I'm picking up these first 6 cars from the yard, and I'll show you that in a minute, setting out these cars, and then I go back into staging or put the cars back in the boxes. So I just thought I would talk about that for some of the newer subscribers who don't know how I rotate cars on and off my layout. Now, you can certainly print out switch lists off JMRI, but I'd hate to waste the paper. So basically I just make a little list here. These are the 4 trains. These are the cars that I'm picking up out of the yard, and these are the cars that I'm dealing out of the staging boxes to go into the yard. One thing you'll notice here, and if you can read my writing, I got a couple covered hoppers in here. I am going to run the elevator train in this session, but I didn't want to overdo it, so I just activated a couple of covered hoppers, and so we'll probably pick up one that's there and drop one off, and we'll see how it goes. I do have bigger plans like that in the future, but I was starting out kind of slow with it. So again, this is just sort of help you guys understand what I'm going to do. The cars in the blue are going to go on the B&O eastbound train, the blue dots. The red dots are going to go on the B&O westbound train. The C&O interchange is going to be the orange dots, and the N&W interchange is going to be the green dots. So the first thing I have to do is sort them out for those trains. So we're going to be doing some yard switching. Take all these dots off and build the train so when the interchange train comes, we can just swap blocks of cars. I do want to talk about one thing real quick. I had a couple of cars in the yard that I said I was watching them. They were just sitting there, not doing anything. Both those cars are leaving on outbound trains. They never went to an industry. They just sat in the yard, but then they went back out of the yard. The only car in the yard right now that is not leaving is this plastics covered hopper right here. It's the only one that's staying. All the tank cars are going, and I'm only actually getting one covered hopper in that serves Cedar Heights clay, so I know it's not going to get a covered hopper. It's still only going to get one covered hopper in the next operating session because there's only one that's going to be in the yard that can go to it. Let's start doing some yard switching. We'll get the dots off there, and we'll build the B&O eastbound train first, and we'll do a little bit of work on the other ones too, because it makes sense to just go ahead and try not to quadruple handle cars unless we have to. So let's do some switching. We use the passing siding as usual to build our train. I use the GP7 today. It is my favorite locomotive, but also I messed up the NW2. It has one of those different decoders. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. And it was actually sitting on the track when I was trying to mess with the headlight on the B30-7. And evidently the CBs are not exactly the same. So when I messed up the headlight on the NW2 also, and when I went in to try to fix it, it was all screwed up. So I sent it back to the guy who installed it. He said he thinks he can just reprogram it. Hopefully so. It's a Zemo decoder, that's what it is. So we're going to take that Western Maryland covered hopper and stage it first on the passenger track. The reason why I'm doing this is we're going to build both the B&O eastbound and the westbound trains pretty much at the same time. Again, a good yard crew, they think ahead 2 or 3 moves. They've been doing this probably their whole lives, and they know how to work efficiently. So we'll go ahead and push it down fairly far so the road crew, when they have to pick up the cut of cars, we get them back on the road pretty quick, and they don't tie up the town for as long as they would have. That's the whole job of the yard crew, basically, is to make things easier for the road crews. So those 2 rail box cars, we're going to couple it to the brown B&O box car, and those 3 all go on the westbound train. Actually narrating this on December 5th. I went to the surgeon about my shoulder this morning. Took some x-rays. Basically called it an old man shoulder. It's just wear and tear. Didn't anything significant to it, like it wasn't an event that caused it to tear. So he's going to try a cortisone shot and physical therapy before they do anything more drastic like surgery. An x-ray is sitting on my lap because if one of us sits down, I almost guarantee x-ray is going to want on your lap. So the Seaboard Coastline car, the yellow one, and the black Shorty tank car also go on the westbound train. So we'll just go ahead and tack those onto the rail box cars that we just dropped off. Actually took a sick day today because I'm not only had to go get the shot in my shoulder, I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and combine it with my yearly eye exam. I rarely take a sick day. I think I've still got 6 left for the year. I won't be taking them. All right, so we've got 5 cars for the westbound train built already. So now let's go back to work on the eastbound train. So the Thiel tank car, the other short black tank car, and the chassis hopper are all heading east. So we'll put them over on the passing track. So we're heading a little deeper into the yard now. So the next car for the eastbound train is the flat car we just pulled. So that flat car got delivered to the yard and never went anywhere on the layout. But someone asked me in a comment how I weathered the deck, and I can't remember if I answered them or not. So basically I had the Microtrains bulkhead flat car decks that I put on. So I just used them as a pattern, and I got some of my paints out. You know, I had buff and tan and, you know, gray and things like that. And I just individually painted each board in a random pattern to make it sort of similar to the bulkhead flats. I was just going to use a bulkhead flat deck on it, but the stake pockets didn't line up. I'm narrating this inside. It is 23 degrees today. That's the hottest it's going to be. It's going to warm up a little bit tomorrow. One day next week supposed to be in the 50s, but then it's going to get a little cold again for this time of year. So we're going to stash these cars back on the yard track number 1. Trying to leave yard track number 3 empty, so we'll have somewhere to put the cars, everything dropped off. And the last car going on the eastbound train is this tank car. After we drop that off and back out the picture, that'll be end of the video. So in the next week's video, we will actually run the eastbound train, swap the box of cars. So everybody have a great Saturday, and as always, stay safe.